You are listening to Second Chance Ministry Radio.
The Book of Habakkuk.
Habakkuk, Chapter 1. The pronouncement made by the prophet Habakkuk. How long, O Lord, shall I cry out and you not listen? Shall I shout to you, violence, and you not save? Why do you make me see iniquity? Why do you look upon wrong? Raiding and violence are before me. Strife continues and contention goes on. That is why decision fails and justice never emerges. For the villain hedges in the just man, therefore judgment emerges deformed. Look among the nations. Observe well and be utterly astounded, for a work is being wrought in your days which you would not believe if it were told. For lo, I am raising up the Chaldeans, that fierce, impetuous nation who cross the earth's wide spaces to seize homes not their own. They are terrible, dreadful. They make their own laws and rules. Their horses are swifter than leopards, fleeter than wolves of the steppe. Their steeds gallop, their steeds come flying from afar. Like vultures rushing toward food, they all come, bent on rapine. The thrust of their van is forward, and they amass captives like sand. Kings they hold in derision, and princes are a joke to them. They laugh at every fortress, they pile up earth and capture it. Then they pass on like the wind. They transgress and incur guilt, for they ascribe their might to their God. You, O Lord, are from everlasting. My holy God, you never die. O Lord, you have made them a subject of contention. O Rock, you have made them a cause for complaint. You, whose eyes are too pure to look upon evil, who cannot countenance wrongdoing, why do you countenance treachery and stand by idle while the one in the wrong devours the one in the right? You have made mankind like the fish of the sea, like creeping things that have no ruler. He has fished them all up with a line, pulled them up in his trawl, and gathered them in his net. That is why he rejoices and is glad. That is why he sacrifices to his trawl and makes offerings to his net. For through them his portion is rich, and his nourishment fat. Shall he then keep emptying his trawl and slaying nations without pity? Chapter 2. I will stand on my watch, take up my station at the post, and wait to see what he will say to me, what he will reply to my complaint. The Lord answered me and said, Write the prophecy down, inscribe it clearly on tablets, so that it can be read easily. For there is yet a prophecy for a set term, a truthful witness for a time that will come. Even if it tarries, wait for it still, for it will surely come without delay. Lo, his spirit within him is puffed up, not upright, but the righteous man is rewarded with life for his fidelity. How much less then shall the defiant go unpunished, the treacherous, arrogant man who has made his maw as wide as Sheol, who is as insatiable as death, who has harvested all the nations and gathered in all the peoples. Surely all these shall pronounce a satire against him, a pointed epigram concerning him. They shall say, Ah, you who pile up what is not yours, how much longer, and make ever heavier your load of indebtedness? Right suddenly will your creditors arise, and those who remind you will awake, and you will be despoiled by them. Because you plundered many nations, all surviving peoples shall plunder you, for crimes against men and wrongs against lands, against cities and all their inhabitants. Ah, you who have acquired gains to the detriment of your own house, who have destroyed many peoples in order to set your nest on high to escape disaster, you have plotted shame for your own house and guilt for yourself. For a stone shall cry out from the wall, and a rafter shall answer it from the woodwork. Ah, You who have built a town with crime and established a city with infamy, so that peoples have had to toil for the fire and nations to weary themselves for naught. Behold, it is from the Lord of hosts, for the earth shall be filled with awe for the glory of the Lord as water covers the sea. Ah, you who make others drink to intoxicate, you pour out your wrath in order to gaze upon their nakedness. You shall be sated with shame rather than glory. Drink in your turn and stagger. The cup in the right hand of the Lord shall come around to you, and disgrace to your glory. For the lawlessness against Lebanon shall cover you, the destruction of beasts shall overwhelm you, for crimes against men and wrongs against lands, against cities and all their inhabitants. What has the carved image availed, that he who fashioned it has carved it for an image and a false oracle, that he who fashioned his product has trusted in it, making dumb idols? Ah, you who say, wake up to wood, awaken to inert stone, can that give an oracle? Why, it is encased in gold and silver, but there is no breath inside it. But the Lord in his holy abode, be silent before him, all the earth. Chapter 3. A prayer of the prophet Habakkuk in the mode of Shigionot. O Lord, I have learned of your renown. I am awed, O Lord, by your deeds. Renew them in these years. O make them known in these years. Though angry, may you remember compassion. God is coming from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. Selah. His majesty covers the skies. His splendor fills the earth. It is a brilliant light which gives off rays on every side, and therein his glory is enveloped. Pestilence marches before him, and plague comes forth at his heels. When he stands, he makes the earth shake. When he glances, nations tremble. The age-old mountains are shattered. The primeval hills sink low. His are the ancient roots. As a scene of havoc I behold the tents of Cushan. Shaken are the pavilions of the land of Midian. Are you wroth, O Lord, with Neharim? Is your anger against Neharim, your rage against Yam, that you are driving your steeds, your victorious chariot? All bared and ready is your bow. Sworn are the rods of the word. Selah. You make the earth burst into streams. The mountains rock at the sight of you. A torrent of rain comes down. Loud roars the deep. The sky returns the echo. Sun and moon stand still on high as your arrows fly in brightness, your flashing spear in brilliance. You tread the earth in rage. You trample nations in fury. You have come forth to deliver your people, to deliver your anointed. You will smash the roof of the villain's house, raise it from foundation to top. Selah. You will crack his skull with your bludgeon. Blown away shall be his warriors, whose delight is to crush me suddenly, to devour a poor man in an ambush. You will make your steeds tread the sea, stirring the mighty waters. I heard, and my bowels quaked. My lips quivered at the sound. Rot entered into my bone. I trembled where I stood. Yet I wait calmly for the day of distress, for a people to come to attack us. Though the fig tree does not bud, and no yield is on the vine, though the olive crop has failed, and the fields produce no grain, though sheep have vanished from the fold, and no cattle are in the pen, yet will I rejoice in the Lord, exult in the God who delivers me. My Lord God is my strength. He makes my feet like the deer's, and lets me stride upon the heights. For the leader, with instrumental music.
The Book of Habakkuk, read by Elizabeth London.
You are listening to Second Chance Ministry Radio.